Hey guys, and welcome back to DevLog Part 3. So in the last devlog, I left off at where the player could go invisible, he could grab the fruit, he could also drop it. And you could also steal the fruit from the enemy AI. So because this game is basically made around hide and go seek, I thought it would be good to make an area to where the player or the enemy AI could hide. Camouflage, I should say. So because this is not the actual final map, I just set up a few different colorful grass areas to where you will be able to camouflage into. So where the invisible button would be, the text changes and goes to camouflage. Once the player or the enemy AI reaches the grassy hiding spot, you can decide whether or not you want to camouflage into it. But you can only camouflage unless you're the same color as the area. I like to call it color correction, but you can also call this color matching. So red would go to red, blue would go to blue, and green would go to green, and so on and so on. The next thing I decided to work on was the enemy AI movement. In my opinion, I think the best way to move the AI was to use a nav mesh agent. By using the nav mesh movement, I can control where the player can go and what areas are not walkable or not walkable. In order for the nav mesh agent to work properly, you have to set a destination. So there will be multiple destinations that I want the AI to go to. The first one would be to move towards where the fruit is. The second would be to follow the player if someone is holding the fruit. And the third is to go to a hiding spot if the AI is holding the fruit. Just like the player, I also gave the AI the ability to find a hiding spot and camouflage as well. Along with the camouflage ability, the AI also has a steal ability as well. So if the player is holding the fruit and gets too close to the AI has a possibility of snatching and stealing the fruit. The next thing I wanted to work on for the AI was random movement. So if the player was to turn invisible and was also holding the fruit, I wanted some type of function that would work for the AI to where they would move in different spots trying to find the fruit even though the player is invisible. So I set up random pinpoints on the map and used random.range to constantly change the agent's destination. This is supposed to make the player feel as though they're being hunted down. Another thing is, if the player is invisible, you'll notice that there are footprints left behind. I think I can do something with this, and I can make it so that the AI might track down the footprints so they can find the player that's invisible. If the AI somehow finds you, it could possibly steal the fruit and lower your chances of winning the match. So that's basically the main thing that I got done in these 2 weeks, but here's also some gameplay of me playing with a full party of 8 different AI players, and this is what it would look like. Now, I will agree, it does kind of look kind of crazy, a little wonky, and there are a few issues with too many AI being in the same area at once, so I'm just going to clean it up and touch it up, and by the next time you guys see the next devlog, it'll look much better. Now, let's talk about some new things that will be implemented in the game. So not only am I going to have the AI, I also want some predators AI. So a chameleon's natural predator are birds. So I think I'm going to go with that. The next thing I'm going to work on is making the lobby much better. And I will have to start working on the networking for multiplayer. Also, I think UI tweening is going to be something very important to add to the game to make the UI look much better and stand out. The last thing that I'm going to worry about adding in the game is music. Now, I would like some suggestions and some of you guys' input on what I should do when it comes to the map scene. So I've been thinking of some movable objects I can put in the game so that way it makes it a little bit more difficult to take the fruit and actually hold on to it until the timer runs out. And yeah, that's basically what I achieved within these last 2 weeks. I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and definitely feel free to reach out to me. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.